I was in Leipzig. I lived in Leipzig at that time when I became a furrier trainee. In the middle of the night, my cousin with whom I lived woke me up and said, the synagogue is burning, they're arresting people. He and his wife were going to go again to the park in Leipzig. And I said, no, I'm staying home. You go. Whatever happens, happens. Whether I made the right decision or not, I didn't know. It turned out to be the right decision because they arrested every Jew who was in the park, and I was not arrested. In the morning, the doorbell rang. I debated, and I said, "Que sera, sera, whatever happens, happens." I opened the door, and there was a little old man from an old age home there telling me that my mother had called the old age home, that my father and my brother had been arrested. I said, "Thank you very much, I will call my mother." I went to the next public post office because not everybody had telephones, and we didn't have telephones, certainly where I lived. And called my mother, and I said, "I'm coming home." I immediately went to the railroad station without any baggage whatsoever, bought a ticket for Dresden. I was so excited that I left a large banknote there, and the conductor called me back and even said, "Well, you forgot your change." So I said, "Thank you very much." I grabbed the change and ran. And he said, "Wait a minute, don't you want to give anything for the winter help?" So I gave him some for the winter help. I got into the train. Lucky enough, again, everybody was arrested at the railroad station. Somehow I wasn't. I got into the train. I got into a compartment which was filled with Air Force personnel. Again, I was saved from that. I got home, I got to my mother, my mother's home. Again, really, it's almost unbelievable that this happened. Next morning, I was sharing the bedroom with a friend of ours who lived there. Next morning, the intercom rings. It was a fairly large house, and the maid from downstairs calls up and says, "Two Gestapo men are downstairs who want to see that friend of mine who was not there. They want to see where he sleeps." So I said, "Send him up." Again, whatever happens, happens. They come up and show me their badge and say, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Heinz Mutulski, and I do not belong to Dresden. I came to see my mother." They said, "Do you have a passport?" I said, "No." We had to turn in our passport. And then it dawned on me that I was in the age group that had been called up and had been medically examined by the army. And I had a army ID paper. So I jumped out of bed and gave him this army ID paper with the swastika and everything. They both looked at it. They looked at each other, gave this back to me, said thank you, and turned around and walked out. They probably had never seen a Jew having an army ID paper.